You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest.
Hi everyone, and welcome from your Intuition Queen to a new episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. Today we continue the series about colors, and we're going to talk about yellow. So yellow is the color of warmth. Think about the sun. It shines. It doesn't matter if there are clouds. It just shines. It's bright. It's warm. We'll want it all the time. It shines through the windows, so it makes our houses look brighter. It's something that we need and we want. And so, if you have this color in your chart, you're very much a person that is magnetic for sure, depending where it is in your chart. But if you have it, especially in your first few positions, that's just your energy. You're a magnetic person, and you're a person that you're just liked by people. People just like you naturally. You don't even have to try. You don't even have to do anything. And this is the color that talks about shining bright and being yourself and being a happy person. However, people that have this color in their chart, they might not feel that way. They might feel a little bit of self-doubt. They might not feel like they have this much power, they have this much energetic power. Exactly. I was trying to find a different word, but actually this is the perfect word. Like, your energy shines through, and people want a little piece of that. And it is very common that people with this energy in their chart, they might not feel like that. They might not feel they're good enough. They might feel a lot of self-doubt. A few months ago in September, I had a session with one of my clients. He was leaving his job. He's actually my hairdresser. So he was leaving the company he had worked for years. It's a big global company. So obviously he was a manager there. But it was opening up his own salon. And when we did the color reading, he had yellow in his chart twice at the beginning, the first two positions, which talk a lot about your personal energy, the way you were born, and the energy you need to use in your lifetime. And I remember saying to him, I told you those things before, actually before we did the color reading, that you are just, your energy is just magnetic. People just like to be around you. And I had gone to do my hair after he left, and I could see the difference. I could see there wasn't that happy energy of someone that, even if it's not working with you at that moment, but you feel the energy of a person that has that kind of magnetism, that kind of energy. And I remember him telling me that he was worried about how to attract clients, because it was going to be in a different city. It was going to be all new. And I remember saying to him, you don't need to worry. People are just going to come to you. Your old clients are going to come to you, because aside from your talent as a hairdresser, you just have this beautiful energy, and people are attracted to that. So think about when you need to choose if you want to go in a place or in another, how many times do you choose to go somewhere because you like the person that is there, because you're going to be taken care of, because the energy of that place is nice, because you have fun there, rather than another place. So this is the typical energy of someone that has yellow in their chart. If you have it as a life mission, you probably need to work throughout your lifetime to get to that point. So you might have some struggles that you need to overcome in order to get to a point where you trust yourself. You know that no matter what, your energy, if you're aligned, it's going to attract everything that you want. This energy, if you don't have it in your chart, it's something that you can still cultivate, because normally when we are happy, when we are aligned, when we are doing everything we can to make sure we follow our path, that's the energy that Abraham Hicks talks about has been in the vortex. Like, when you're making sure that you take care of yourself, you do things that make you happy, and you do things that your soul wants you to do, that's when you get into alignment, and all of the things you desire come to you, people and stuff. when you have this energy in your chart, it's very important for you to protect yourself, because when you are so magnetic, you will attract all kind of people and all kind of situations. So you're going to attract people that are aligned to you, and that's okay. But you're also going to attract people that are not aligned to you. They might want that piece of you, that piece of your energy, because it's just so powerful, but they're in a low vibration and they might just try to drag you down. So you have to be very discerning with the people you have around, and what kind of people come into your life. If you're in alignment, your intuition is going to be on top of things, and so this should not be a problem, because if you're following your intuition, and if you are following your energy, this should come around very easily. But it's always good to keep an eye on things, because when you are in this energy, it's just very easy to attract everything, even things that are not good for us. And I do believe that the universe likes to test us. So just watch out if this is if you have those colors in your chart, in your color chart, and you know it, just be mindful of the people you attract, because you will attract a lot of the people that you want to, but also some of the people you don't want to. And that's just for you to trust yourself and release those people and keep going through your path. This is just the natural energy of yellow. So as I mentioned, if you have yellow in your chart, you are gonna probably, on the negative side or on the imbalance side, you're going to be having self-doubt about yourself, which I think it's normal. If you have such a powerful energy, you're not necessarily going to think, oh my God, I'm amazing. I attract everything that I want and people just come to me. I think that's something that not many people do. And so self-doubt, not being able to maybe achieve your goals or attract the right people might come along for you. Just tune into your energy and take a breath, because it's just your mind. Yellow, it's a very mental color. It's a masculine color. So it has a tendency to want to stay in your head instead of dropping into your heart and into your intuition. So there is this polarity of the yellow. It can be connected if you are in alignment, and therefore your magnetism and your intuition will make you very powerful energetically. But if you are disconnected, and if you are in that energy of self-doubt, a little bit of fear, your intuition might not be connected. You're gonna have a tendency to stay a lot in your head. And so watch out for this. When you are staying a lot in your head, it's because you need to really take time for yourself and reconnect to yourself, reconnect to your intuition. Remember about your energy. Okay, so now I talked about having this energy in your color chart. And to know about this, you need to have a color reading. So, or as I call it, it could be color reading or color therapy session. If you're curious to know what colors you have in your chart and what they mean for you, what kind of energetic map I can give you, you can book a session with me. Just go to my website, theintuitionqueen.com. You can either book the session straight away, or if you're not sure, you want to have a quick chat, just book a free consultation, and we can talk about it. You can tell me a little bit what you're thinking, what is the reason why you want to do it, and I can answer to all of your questions if that's something that you are interested in. I suggest you do it because it's such an amazing tool to help you understand your energies, starting from the energies you were born in and the energies you need to use throughout your life in order to get to your life mission and be in alignment with that. And I can tell you, once you know your colors, you are just going to be so more in tune with yourself and with your intuition, because it's going to make so much more sense for you. And I'm pretty sure that the colors in your color chart are going to be some of your favorite colors. Anyway, let's move on. So if you have listened to the previous episodes, I talk about what happens when I do a color therapy session? So aside from providing you with your colors, the ones in your chart, which are based on your date of birth, I'm also able to tune into your energy. And so depending on what it is that you want to work on, when I tune into your energy, I will receive emotions from you. I will start to feel your emotions, and I will see colors that might be in your energy field and not necessarily in your color chart. Those might be very different. And those colors for me mean things. And I will then talk to you about it, because when a color pops up in the energy field, it means there is something that it's asking to be released right now. I mentioned about having situations where my clients told me, oh, but this is something I've been working on for a long time. I've already done this kind of work. I have already worked on this topic before. Well, first of all, the fact that we work on a certain topic once or twice doesn't mean this topic it's not going to come back to us, to be seen, to be released, because we are made of layers. So maybe, let's say you have worked on your, I don't know, fear of success, and you've done it maybe 5 years ago when you left your job and you started your own business. That was maybe a big fear that you had to overcome, and maybe you worked on that. And then as you move through your business and through the years, this fear came up when, I don't know, let's say you started to partnership with someone, and maybe now it's popping up again, and this time it's related to your relationships, because maybe you become so good at doing your job and being very successful in your business that you have left the relationship side of things a little bit on the side, and now maybe you met someone that you really like, and the relationship is going well, and you're afraid this might end, or there is something. So a topic can come back in times related to different parts of our lives, different areas of our lives, depending on what's going on with us. And it is possible to release a fear or a limiting beliefs for good, but you never know how many times you have to get to see this topic, because we're made of layers, and sometimes we focus on our career, sometimes we focus on our relationships, and sometimes we focus on our finances or whatever else. And so those topics, if they're very deep within us, will come back in different ways at different times of our lives. So if yellow pops up in your energy field when I'm doing a color therapy session, it means that the person needs to believe more in themselves and in their capabilities of being successful at something. Could be personal, professional life, it doesn't matter. Because there might be a sense of feeling inadequate in that situation, not good enough, right? We can talk about not feeling good enough forever. It's something that unfortunately we all feel at some point, and this can sabotage our lives if we're not able to see it and to work with it. It can also mean you're not connected to your intuition. You don't trust yourself, you don't trust the universe, your God, you don't have faith. Because as I said earlier, this is a mental color, and so it has a tendency to want you to stay in your head. And of course, it's a color that requires you to have clarity of mind. So it is a perfect color to use if you're feeling like a little bit foggy and you're not able to make a decision. This is a great color to use. But at the same time, it can be very disconnected to yourself. So it's very important to reconnect yourself and reconnect your mind, your body, and your spirit, so that your intuition can come through. And that's when you can get all the clarity that you need. And your mind is going to be very sharp after your intuition is connected again. But this is such an important part, and it's not separate. Intuition and mind work together well, and then can help us make the best decision ever, because when we get an intuitive message, then our mind is able to understand how to solve that problem, what kind of solution to find. But when we are disconnected from our intuition, our mind is foggy, and we might try to find ways to resolve a problem, to find a solution, but oftentimes this is not aligned to ourself. It's not aligned to our energy. And so the magnetic part of ourselves might be on the low spectrum of things, which means you're not going to be very magnetic. And so the law of attraction basically will not work. So this color can pop up in your energy field, especially in situations where, let's say that you grew up in a religious family, whatever kind of religion, and as you move through your life, you start to slowly detach from what the religion that you grew up in talked about, from what they're saying, because you start to be interested in something else, in another kind of religion, in a more spiritual way of seeing source, higher self, and things like that. And so therefore, as you move through this transformation, you might have situations where, you know, when you're releasing something that you've been used to for so long, and you start to move to something new, there is this resistance, and there is a little bit of a disconnection, and there is also a little bit of emotional charge, because you're leaving in something that you know for something that you don't know, but because you're following your intuition and your soul's guidance, there is this moment where you need to snap out. So yellow could happen, could pop up in your energy field for this reason, because you are going through this transition and you are required to trust a lot. In these situations, trust for yourself, what your soul is asking you to do, for this new spiritual path you're going through, or this new religion, for example. So it requires you to have a lot of trust, and this might be difficult. This might be one of the reasons why yellow might pop up in your energy field, especially if you don't have it in your color chart. And so it is very likely that because emotionally you will be overcharged, it is very likely that you will be taken on by fear. Fear, if it's not dealt with, if you have too much repressed fear, can turn into physical issues. But I'm not going to go there right now, because normally when this happens, we're not at that point. Yellow also pops up in your energy field for people that need to have a mask, because they maybe have needed to create a persona, and now they are just struggling to be themselves. So this can happen a lot in people that, for their own safety, have had to behave in a certain way. This happens to people that maybe have lived through their parents' beliefs. They have done what their parents have always wanted them to do, or some other part of the family, or a group of people they belong to. And all of a sudden, they have this awakening that this is not them, and they want to actually start to be themselves more. And so there is this moment where, again, like I was mentioning before with a different kind of religion, where you detach yourself from the group you belong to, and you start to make your own decisions, and you start to carve your own path based on what you feel it's you. And so this is a color that would come through, because you have to go through some sort of identity loss in order to understand there is some that you have to take some kind of actions, because the way you're living, it's not working. And so this can pop up in situations where you're in crisis, basically, where, you know, I deal a lot with people that get to a certain point and they feel like they have a midlife crisis, which the midlife crisis, it's only there to tell you the way you've been living your life, it's not aligned to your true self. So it's time for you to start making decisions that actually allow you to be your true self, which means having to let go of people that you thought loved you, and situations and things that up until then kind of made you feel comfortable, even if the truth was that you were in discomfort, but you were hanging on to that because it was more fearful for you to actually think of taking a step out of the box than staying in the box. So it's something that can happen if you're going through that. And if this is something that you're going through, get in touch. It's not as difficult as you think it is. There are moments in which your life is going to be very difficult. It's only because your true self is asking you to do things that you've never done before. And therefore, there is this this feeling of not knowing what to do, and not thinking that you can overcome this challenge, and feeling maybe alone, because especially if you're moving away from a group of people that have been supportive in a way or in another, you might feel very lonely, but you're never alone. So know that there is always your God, spirits, whatever, your angels, whatever it is that you believe in, they're looking after for you. So just ask for help to them, and if not, just get in touch with someone that you think could help you. If you're going through such a transformational moment in your life, I would suggest you come to have a color therapy session, because it's going to give you so much more energy, but also you will understand why this is happening, why it's happening right at this particular moment in time in your life, and what kind of energies you need to use to overcome this transition. So if you're going through this, get in touch. As I said earlier, you can either book the session straight away from my website, or you can just book a consultation, which is free. We can have a quick chat, and I can tell you if I think it will be good for you. You can tell me what's going on, and we can organize if you feel like I'm the right person to work with. You don't have to choose me. I believe you're guided, you will be guided. But it's something that can help you to understand so much more about yourself and so much more about your energy. And I promise you, this is what all my clients say, you just get so much a boost of energy that all of a sudden you have so much more confidence than the moment before you started the session. So in Reiki, instead, this is the related to the solar plexus, the third chakra. And it's the chakra of personal power. So this is where there is our inner power, the power within us, and it's associated to the way we start to create our own personality. And we start to move away from the group we belong to, from our origins, our family. We start to create our own way of thinking and behaving. And it's an energy that helps us to express ourselves to the exterior world. So if you have listened to the previous episodes, I talked about the root chakra as the chakra where we have our origins. And so this could be your family, or anyway, the people you grew up with, and therefore where your culture, your religion, and all of that. With the second chakra, the orange one, you start to move towards the direction of getting to know people with different opinions, people with different behavior. So the second chakra, it's where you start to see things differently from what you know, what you used to. And that's where you start to create the first relationships, maybe at school, maybe if you're doing sports, and normally when you're a child. And so you start to see all of the differences between what you know and what other people do. And so you see differences in behaviors, in way of thinking, in way of doing things, especially if you meet people from different cultures. They have different way of doing the same thing. They have different feasts and things like that, different holidays. And so you're going to start to see all of those differences. When you come to the third chakra, that's when you grow up a little bit more, and that's when you start to make decisions on your own, and you start to have your own way of thinking, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same of your family or the people you grew up with. And so in here, there are two things that can happen, depending on how you grew up and what kind of family or group you grew up with. You might have a hard time expressing yourself properly and truly because you are in contrast with your family or the group you grew up with. And so those are the moments where you start to clash, because you want to go your way, you want to do things your way, but your family or the group you grew up with will tell you, no, this is not the way you do it. We have taught you this way. This is how we have always done. And so if they're not able to understand that you're going through this transformational moment, which is natural, and they won't allow you to be yourself, but they will have this kind of controlling behavior that you kind of have to do what they tell you, there's going to be a clash. And it depends obviously also on how much inner strength you have, which is also part of this chakra, because this is the chakra that, if it's balanced, will give you the power, the inner power to believe in yourself, take action on the things that you want, handle any crisis, and have self-discipline. With this energy, you will have the courage to take risks and do everything that needs to happen for you to make your dreams come true or achieve your goals if there are smaller things. Basically, this is where you express yourself truly, and you do things that are good for your highest good without thinking about what other people are saying or telling you to do, which can be very critical, because if you get stuck in wanting to not disappoint someone or wanting to please someone, that's where you give your power away. And this is something that happens so often to all of us, until we keep working on this and we get to a point where we are able to stand our ground, believe in ourselves, and believe that what we are trying to do or achieve or be, it's the right thing to do. And that's when you start to avoid to maybe talk to certain people, or you start to put up boundaries, and you start to be more within yourself in order for you to improve your life and get what you want. If you're not balanced with this chakra, as I said, it's completely the opposite. You're going to be overcome by fear, and fear of being rejected by the group, by the family, and therefore to be left alone. Fear of not being able to achieve a goal, not being able to make it by yourself. Fear of looking stupid. So this is a very powerful energy, and it's very important that we understand that we need to go through this. We need to go through this transformation. I often, pretty much always, work with clients where this polarity and this push and pull between them wanting to speak their truth, and their parents, their family, trying to hold them back, it's very strong. And because we are emotionally attached to those people, it becomes very important to